Hi, I'm Aretha. I played Monster Hunter Wilds on a Ryzen 7 8700G, so in this video I'll be talking about it while watching the game. I hope you'll watch until the end. Wow, this is the Wilds I've been waiting for. By the way, I'm not a very good player, so you can imagine what I'm going to do. What I want to talk about is the environment in which it runs. This time it's the Steam version. Up until now, high required specifications have been announced and caused a stir in the area. This time, additional information has been released in addition to the information previously released. There are 4 environment requirements in total. From top to bottom, there are 4 levels: Ultra, High, Recommended, and Minimum. This time it's Ryzen 7 8700G's IGPU Radeon 780M. I'm playing with this. Are you okay? Is there anyone who thought that? To be honest, I didn't think I'd be able to play it properly, but surprisingly, it works just fine. I'm sure you can imagine how good it looks, though. Reading from the information on the minimum environment, the graphics cards are written as GTX 1660 Super and RX 5600 XT. Although this is an older generation, it is a PCIe graphics card. Of course, if you compare simple performance, the results are impressive. I pulled the scores from 3DMark's TimeSpy. The RX 5600 XT is apparently the best with 7702. The GTX 1660 Super is 5990. Judging from these scores, it seems that Nvidia is stronger at Wilds. And then there's the Radeon 780M, which only has a score of 3308. Hey, there's no way you can do it. I'm sure some of you are thinking that. Take a look at this video. Of course, you can't expect to play on a beautiful screen, but it is possible to play the game normally. To be honest, I thought it would be rejected at launch until I actually started it up. I was amazed that it worked normally. By the way, as for my environment settings, I have not done any extreme overclocking. I have tweaked the memory timing slightly. I have not overclocked the CPU or IGPU at all. PBO itself is enabled, but I have not changed the PPT and it remains at 87 watts. I have only manually increased the IGPU memory allocation. I have set it to 8 GB. That's all it takes to make it work. So I think you could increase the FPS a little more if you changed to a better memory. Or you may be able to set various expressions one step higher. I actually tried playing with memory set to 8400, which is quite high voltage, and I could feel the performance improvement. That said, it's not as big a change as upgrading a graphics card, so it's only a slight increase. If you feel like you want a little more, it might be an option. As I mentioned earlier, this iGPU is completely defeated by the minimum system requirements graphics card. I think the reason it works so well even in such an environment is thanks to FSR3 and AFMF2. FSR3 performs upscaling and frame generation, and then AFMF2 generates frames again. Thanks to this, with AFMF2 enabled, I can get over 70 frames while hunting. This is incredible. It's not something that previous iGPUs could have done. The recent technological advances in frame generation and other areas are incredible. Of course, frame generation has its downsides, and there are many parts where the character outlines are blurred, and the depiction looks strange. There is a woman who acts like a blacksmith at the base, and there is a scene where she hits a rotating stone with a blade, causing sparks to fly. But if you use frame generation too much, this scene will look very rough. By rendering natively without using any frame generation, it is rendered very clearly. If you make such a setting, Wilds will show its fangs. The required specs are quite high. 4K 60 FPS requires a 4070 Ti after upscaling using frame generation. If you want to get 120 FPS in native 4K, wouldn't you need a 4090 or something? The big names seem to be able to handle that sort of thing, so I'll leave it to them. This kind of verification is enough for a weak person like me. There seems to be a lot of information out there about what the video looks like on a high-spec system. but I thought there might not be much video footage of the minimum level at which you can play the game without polygon collapse, so I decided to release the video I took this time. I hope this will be helpful for people who don't care about appearances and just want to know if they can play the game. It works in this environment. Therefore, it might be possible to go with a mini PC or something. If you can manage the amount of memory installed and the heat generation, I'm fantasizing that I might be able to do it. My dreams are expanding. By the way, this footage wasn't shot with everything at the lowest settings. At first, I was doing everything at the lowest settings. The FPS was 140, which was incomprehensible. However, the depiction is terrible. I think it's at a level that will hinder play. Adjusted some settings. After trying out various settings, I adjusted these settings so that I could maintain above 60 FPS while hunting. When I rotate the camera around the base, it's about 40 FPS. It feels like reality is harsh. I always hunted solo because I didn't want to bother other people, so I'm sure the FPS would drop if I were to hunt with 4 people. I would like to try a little verification of what it is like in such a case. I don't think I have the time to do it, though. If hunting with 4 people, it may be difficult unless I lower the settings a bit more. And what's surprising is the power consumption while playing this. It only consumes around 120 watts. I think it would be nearly impossible to play with this kind of power consumption in any other environment. If you play with a huge power limit on the 4090, you might get a lower result. I definitely think that's a violation. Or rather, it's the wrong way to use 4090. Please use it as a heating device. That's about it. This video is about playing Wilds on a Ryzen 7 8700G IGPU. I won't reveal the detailed settings in this video, but I plan to make a video later once my main machine is completed. In that video I will include detailed settings of the environment I used this time. So if you're interested, I'd be happy if you would come and check out that video. Finally, here are the graphics settings that were set in the game this time. Please pause the game to check them out. Thank you for watching until the end. If you meet me online, please be kind to me.
私が集めた素材はアイテムボックスに入れておきますね。
さすが僕の相棒。